Diabetes is the slow killer and it is a man-made.
With age, our muscle mass decreases, and there is a lot of insulin sensitivity.
The only one person can help you, that's you.
But you need to control your lifestyle. Remission and there is reversal. It is difficult to change completely. If you're pre-diabetic, you can actually do it in 3 months.
Problems can be complex. Often solutions are very simple. Hello, thank you for joining me on this Keep It Moving podcast. Today we got our guest, Kinjal, who's a dietitian. She's been a dietitian for the last 6 years and she's been qualified with a master's degree, 2 master's degree in dietetics, and she have plenty of knowledge and information to share about weight loss, how the weight loss journey will look like, what is pre-diabetic, what is diabetic status, and we've got 2 episodes recorded here. And I wish we all have this information available through a right medium in the National Health Service so that people can get the best service from their doctors. Let's dive into it. Kinjal, very nice to meet you today.
Same here, Xavier.
Thank you for joining us on this podcast. Being a dietitian, I'll have loads of questions to ask you, and I want to get into as much as information we can gain out of your specialist interest you have in various subjects. How many years have you been a dietitian?
So approximately 6 years. Yeah. Since I graduated, I've been taking a lot of private patients and then working in different areas.
Settings like NHS?
NHS, and also I was working in hospitals in India and private facilities in India as well.
And you are also very keen on research activities, right?
Yeah.
So tell me all about the research activities you've been involved.
Basically, when I did my dissertation during my first master's, I learned a lot about the research, and that I had a very good interest in it. And then after that, I came to UK to do another master's in research. And after that, I joined a research assistant as a research assistant, and I was doing a study on prebiotics. So because it was a very short project, so I finished that, and then I thought I would jump into dietetics again to understand better what I actually want to research, and then go ahead more into it.
Have you figured out your research question?
That's why I am here in dietetics yet. I'm still figuring that out. Once I figure that out, once I'm 100% sure this is something that I want to do and there is scope, I will go back to research.
100%. That's a one question you need to get it right, because your whole rest of your life will go around it. And you don't want to get the questions wrong. Which area of interest would you say you would do your research on?
Either it would be diabetes or gut health.
Wow, both are amazing
because
subjects.
I also did some prebiotic work in research, so I am very intrigued again.
Wow, fantastic. We talked about diabetes in the past with one of our colleagues, Anaga, who's a dietitian, and what we did not cover on that podcast is pre-diabetic. These are the group of people who are not yet diagnosed formally as a diabetic, but they have the markings going towards the diabetic level. Some people stay as a pre-diabetic for a long time, sometime on the rest of their life. And there is very limited resources of information available for them to do what they should be focusing on. How do they manage them as a pre-diabetic? How they can bring the diabetic levels down so they become a normal person as such.
Yes.
So explain a little bit more about what is pre-diabetic. What are the values there?
So pre-diabetes is something where their glucose levels are a little high, but not so high that they could be classified as diabetes. That's what pre-diabetes is. So they can get diabetes kind of thing, and this could result. So as you said, there is not a lot of resources, because I feel like there is not one reason why they could have gotten into pre-diabetes. There could be it could be multifactorial. So it could be either due to obesity, they could have PCOS, or there is a sedentary lifestyle or something like that. And when we find what is the reason why their blood sugars are going high, let's say for example women, especially these days, I have a lot of PCOS, the incidence is increasing. So if we find out that's the reason, we can treat it, and by that insulin resistance or insulin sensitivity, which can be treated, and then it can go back. And similarly, if they have a sedentary lifestyle, like you and me, we are sitting on the desk all day.
All the time,
yeah. And then we figure out, and then we we treat it, we go for our exercises, we go to walks and stuff, it can come back.
You know, the PCOS you talked about, that really threw me out of the conversation. And is it really that PCOS can lead to pre-diabetes and possibly lead to diabetes?
Definitely. Uncontrolled, definitely. Because
Wow.
with PCOS, there is insulin resistance. So with it, there is a lot of hyperglycemia, and the blood sugars go
Yes,
up
yes,
a
yes.
lot, and then that's why it is really important to. It's all the hormones, right?
Yes,
Insulin
yes,
is a
yes.
hormone. PCOS is a hormonal issue. Once we fix that, the other hormones get fixed.
So what are the symptoms a patient might see when they are pre-diabetic? Because they never thought they will become diabetic. They haven't
Yeah.
been to the doctors about being diabetic or thinking that they may be diabetic. What are the things they need to look out for?
So maybe excessive thirst, excessive urination, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. These are some of the basic symptoms that we see in pre-diabetes, but there is no such symptom most of the times, because mostly it happens like when it is diabetes, they see a lot of symptoms. So what I would suggest is, especially after the age of 40, would have a blood test every year. And even for individuals who are below the age of 40, should have their blood test as much as regularly. That would
Honestly, I would
Yeah.
never thought of doing a blood test after the age of 40 to check whether you are
NHS
diabetic.
also suggests that after
But do they
40
do it? They suggest that. Do they do it?
That's a good question. That can be debated. But they definitely do suggest after the age of 40, you should have everything checked.
So
I do that.
if I go to my doctor and say, Doc, I want you to check me whether anything wrong going on by doing a blood test, what will be their reaction? Are you going mad? Are you hypochondriac? Get away from my surgery.
That could be a thing, but still, I think it's very important for us also to take responsibility of our own health. We
Indeed.
can't always be relied on the healthcare professionals like they would be helping us all the time. If we just tell them, I want to check, especially I know for sure, if you ask the NHS, I'm 41 or something and I want to get my blood tested.
Is there something like a well women check people can do, or men can go for a well men check? Is it both the same or different?
There is some, but
Similarity
there is
there.
a similarity. There is something, but you don't need to do a well women or well men check. You can just go for the entire
blood's
your
normal.
lipids, your livers, your renal tests and stuff like that, your diabetes, your fasting blood glucose and fasting FBSC and everything. You should just check that.
Wow. Okay. So run it again. So if I'm feeling excessive thirsty, urinating quite a lot, feeling tired, and sweaty at night, and these are all the symptoms of diabetes or
Yeah.
pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
And if we got one or two, we need to definitely discuss with the doctors.
With the doctors, yeah, and especially fatigue. Fatigue is also one of the symptoms, and this is something that could turn out to be anything. It could be vitamin D deficiency, it could be vitamin B12 deficiency, and this is something that that is very common, fatigue. So that is also one of the symptoms of pre-diabetes or diabetes again.
Wow. So this is arguably, if a woman who's in the age of 40 plus, and they will have this tiredness due to lack of iron in the blood,
Yeah.
and PCOS, and these other things could lead to some of these symptoms. But they do sometimes think, I'm getting older, it's my hormonal changes, I might be, premenopausal, all these things, they might put it down, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They might put it down, but
It's
we
worth
need to
always
check.
checking.
Yeah, without
Always.
checking, we can't put it down to anything. And that's something where healthcare professionals come in. We need to check, we need to educate them properly.
You won't believe it. Loads of surgeries have a nurse who's specialized in diabetes, isn't it? And why don't we go to the diabetic nurse in our GP surgeries and ask, can I have a check? Is that one thing where they can pinprick on the finger and they can check for our diabetes, or it has to be a full-on blood test?
It needs to be a full-on blood test because there are different panels. There is HbA1c, there is fasting blood glucose, there is OGTT that we check. So for the first check, definitely once we check the HbA1c, we can't do that with the prick. The prick is only for those who, especially those who have uncontrolled diabetes type 2 and for type 1. So then we are checking in them regularly before and after what they eat.
You got so much knowledge about this diabetes. So uncontrolled diabetes type 1
Type 2
Type 2,
uncontrolled
okay.
and type 1 for all of them. We need to check before and after, and that's what the prick is.
Okay.
And for those who are newly diagnosed or those who have type 2 diabetes, they just need to check their HbA1c regularly.
So common folks out there who never been to the doctors, people like loads of men who never go to the doctors and explain their symptoms, how do they understand whether they got type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes? How do they differentiate?
So with the type 1, with C-peptide is the parameter that we check when we differentiate between type 1 and type 2. When the pancreas releases insulin, C-peptide is also released. In type 2, there is a release of insulin. In type 1, there is no insulin released by the pancreas. So by that, we can differentiate if it is type 1 and type 2.
By the way, pancreas is a gland which is right above the liver area, isn't it?
Not exactly the liver area, but it is just next to the stomach.
Yeah,
so
stomach.
Here
And just above the one hanging.
Yeah.
It's like sausage, which is
yeah, between the intestines and the stomach.
When we were in medical school, we were taught all this pancreas, liver, and how these two organs work together to secrete the hormones at the same time, digest all the other things goes around it. Fascinating. But we never, I'm a physiotherapist, we were never taught so much about diabetes in our university level. But working as a physiotherapist, I see so many clients with a shoulder pain who are pre-diabetic or diabetic. Uncontrolled diabetes lead to frozen shoulder, mainly in women on the left-hand side, and so much correlation. So I always check whether they are pre-diabetic, diabetic, insulin dependent or not. Are they on any medications at the moment? There are plenty of medications out there, and diabetes is very well managed in UK, I believe.
Yeah.
And again, doctors are doing a fantastic job in managing it.
Yeah.
But there are loads of researchers out there about diabetic reversal. Talk to me all about it, please, because one of my very good friend of mine, he was 38 when he was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, and he completely reversed it by changing the lifestyle and changing the diet and regular exercise. These are the three things he took on. And he changed his stressful work-life balance, and he stopped all the carbohydrates. He was eating pizzas and rice and everything. As another one, pasta. He stopped all those things, and he went on to lean chicken, lean meat and everything, and he's extremely healthy, completely off the medicine, and he reversed it. Then he talked to me about how this is quite a lot of research out there. Please talk to me all about it.
So first of all, diabetes reversal is just like, as you said, it goes back to your blood sugars go back to normal. Now, before we go into what is reversal and whatnot, I just wanted to clarify there are two things. There is remission and there is reversal. So and there is a difference between them. So remission is just where it goes. There are three types of remission, and it goes back, and there is a possibility of it coming back, like in the blood sugar going up again. But then again, it is much better, even if it is in remission, because it is more controlled, and you have made lifestyle changes, and your medication. So if you are taking any, it has worked for you. So your complications, the chances of getting any complication decreases. And reversal is definitely where something it goes back to normal, to your normal blood sugar levels, and then it cannot come back for like years and years and years. There is no data available, because it is relatively a new topic that after how many years it will come back to be normal. But I recently read a study that was done by Diabetes UK, I believe. I read that on their page. It is direct trial, wherein they saw that there was a small population out of like a good 100, 200, I think. I don't remember the exact number, but there was a small population whose diabetes got reversed just by doing diet, exercise, and definitely, as you said, controlling stress, which is also again very important. We'll talk about that as well. So that is definitely possible, but that requires 100% of you. What happens these days is that we are so busy at work, and life is so busy, and it is very difficult to do, not go for
so controlling ourselves out of this work and the social media is too hard.
It is. It definitely is, and that's something that is self-work. You will need a lot of self-work
Discipline.
and discipline, definitely. And there needs to be something to motivate you. So many times I see patients, they are not just motivated to change their lifestyle.
Anything.
And that's the issue, and they just want to pop in medication or get their insulin.
That's another topic I want to talk to you about. Some of the people I've seen, they say that, you know what, Xavier, yes, it is a diabetes and there are plenty of medication available. Doctors are doing a good job. I don't need to worry anything about it. I said, no, you need to take control of your health.
Yeah.
And I say to them, diabetes is the one of the man-made disease in the planet,
Absolutely.
which can be reversed by the same human or made it worse,
Absolutely.
and which will slowly kill you every single week, day by day, day by day.
Yeah, and as you said, there are lots of medication, there's insulin, everything's there, but how long
Yes.
will they work? So when you start with one metformin, and then you and then the metformin stops working for you. You get resistant to it, and then you start with another one, and then another one. But you need to control your lifestyle. And then obviously one of the goals that we as dietitians want is to decrease your medication, decrease your insulin levels as well. And that should be the goal. It should not be like, okay, my blood sugar is controlled, but I'm taking 10 different medications and insulin and stuff like that. It shouldn't be like that. That shouldn't be the goal technically. Yeah.
How much burden this diabetes will put on other organs in the body? For example, heart, kidneys, and liver.
Yeah.
How hard it can go in each organ?
So, these are some of the complications again that can happen with uncontrolled blood sugar levels. So definitely your kidneys will get affected. Your they will. There is a lot of blood sugar going there, so their function will go down. Your eyes will be affected. Your, as you said, the left shoulder thing, like your neurons will be affected with high blood sugars. They're getting constant energy, and they don't want that much energy, right? And obviously the insulin, this is a very layman language of explaining that there's lots of energy and the body does not need so much energy, but it's just to help the patients to understand how things work. And yeah, definitely, and there is also incidence of, as you said, heart, the lipid levels go
Yes.
up. And this complicates the entire situation over there, and this happens with extreme uncontrolled cases where, like, all of these complications, if they have not achieved their goal within 10 years, 15 years, this is definitely something that will come to them in the
Really?
future. Definitely.
That's shocking, actually. So,
Yeah.
as I understand it, if, as you exactly said, unnecessary energy we put in terms of calories, that goes into our adipose tissue and stored as a insulin,
Yeah.
like a
Stored
fat
as
tissue.
blood sugar.
Blood sugar.
Yeah.
And if it's not used, they will be overburdening our liver, because the liver need to synthesize it.
Yeah.
And that will slowly reduce its function, because it has got lots of other job to function.
Yeah.
And how badly people will get heart problems when they are diabetic or pre-diabetic?
Pre-diabetes is if they have pre-diabetes and also their lipid levels are high, then it is still something that they can change and go back.
So pre-diabetes, there is a way out.
There is even diabetes, there is a way out. There is always a way out if you want one.
If you want one. Exactly the right word, if you want one.
So they can definitely come out of pre-diabetes or diabetes in various ways. Sorry, I forgot your question. Can you ask again?
So the question I was asking, how bad does it do on the heart?
Heart, yes. So again, diabetes, when your blood sugars are very high, your lipid levels also go high, then definitely there is atherosclerosis and sorry, I'm not able to answer this.
That's okay. Yeah. So that develops atherosclerosis, and that reduces the blood flow to the heart, and that leads to cardiac arrest. Exactly, because atherosclerosis, that means blockage of the blood vessels, are the most dangerous disease
and then
in the body. And that is down to the increased insulin in the blood.
Yeah, and also there is, I'm just also, like, when you have lots of carbohydrate in your diet, that's when it is said to have your increased blood sugar levels, and also carbohydrates has an effect on your on increasing your lipids as well. So that there is a correlation between them, and obviously when the lipids go up, the atherosclerosis happen, and then your chances of getting a heart attack increases.
Wow. Yeah. That's shocking. So how far this age contributes to the pre-diabetic state?
Pre-diabetic state, I would say that there is age-related diabetes, definitely. When people, like with age, our muscle mass decreases.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is a lot of insulin sensitivity. Now, these two are most majorly the reasons, and also like if you have put your body into a lot of pressure, there's been certain other issues before, then the chances of them are increasing. But because of muscle mass mainly and insulin sensitivity, it could be pre-diabetes or diabetes. If you exercise regularly, if you take care of your health, have your cheat meals, have your enjoy your life, but also have a very disciplined life, then the chances are very less.
How this corporate culture where when you go to the supermarket, on the aisle you get to see chocolates after chocolates, particularly when you go to a garage to fill your car.
Yeah.
They fill out the entire shelf with varieties of chocolates. I've seen people taking 2, 3. I'm tempted many of the time. How far this corporate life or corporate companies contribute to the prevalence of diabetes and pre-diabetic state?
See, corporate culture is a lot about sitting down. It's a lot about stress, and it is a lot about like longer working hours and stuff like that. And it definitely has issues with the type of food you're eating. Sometimes you just want something very quick. We see a lot of patients go for meal deals because it's just very quick to eat, quick to buy, no cooking. So in these meal deals, there's really nothing in terms of nutrition. There's just something you're filling your stomach with. So definitely there is a lot of issue over there. But if corporate cultures do allow there are some certain companies that actually give food, and they also give healthy foods. Like I know my cousin works in Maruti Suzuki or something, and he gets food over there, and it's relatively very healthy. And I think Google and stuff,
Microsoft, Google and Microsoft,
they do a lot of
as well.
They give a lot of food. They have vending machines, and they are.
Yes. So I was in America a few years ago, and with my friend, and he works in SAP, it's a SAP company, and he took me into the restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the choice of food is so good. And then we went to Google as well. Another friend worked in Google. And they get their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, everything served in there, and they were healthy actually.
Yeah.
That's the first place I saw Americans providing a very healthy meal there. But everything is tempting on the road, isn't it?
It is, and it again over here. It is more about self-control. Like if you can, there should be something like a regimen for yourself. Okay, in this month I've had one meal outside, or you have had 2-3 takeaways and stuff like that, or I've not cooked very well, something like that. Even if it is home cooked, it does not mean it is healthy.
You
could not have enough fiber in your diet or enough protein in your diet. So if you have that thing, like okay, once in a while, once or twice a month, I've like tried to flip things up. And that's fine. That's human. We all do that. You do it, I do it. Like all of us are humans at the end of the day. But if that is happening every single day, you need to think back. Is this something you would want to do? Because I think patients need to understand that especially the corporates, if they keep on working in this pattern, how long will they be able to work? Will they be able to, and how long will they be able to work healthily?
Yes.
So that is something they would have to.
So a couple of other questions I have on the same thing, but what I've read somewhere, when the humans are working long hours, late night, and or stressed work environment, what happens is the body produces so much of cortisol. To keep you on alert situation. So you are constantly pumped with the steroids in the body, and that excessive production of the steroid, which we don't use all the time, then they goes into your tummy area and becomes fat tissue stored everywhere. That is a ticking bomb, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. It definitely gets stored over here, and it has an effect in increasing your insulin levels again, and the body will feel there is sugar.
And floating then around, free sugar.
And the pancreas will try to release insulin. But there is no sugar, and there will be a lot of insulin in your blood, which you're not able to use, which is again a problem. It's called hyperinsulinemia, which is again a problem.
So for a normal guy like you and me or anybody out there, and I want to be very disciplined. and I've been diagnosed as a pre-diabetic now. I want to be extremely disciplined. Give me 5 tips. What are things I should be doing so that I come out of the pre-diabetic state, so that I don't get into that cycle of diabetes altogether?
So if you want 5 things,
Yeah.
first thing is take help.
Okay. Seek help.
Yes, definitely. Don't feel like you can do it. You can do it by yourself, but sometimes you need that little motivation, you need that little push. You can take it from your GP, your nurse, your dietitians, or anyone, or you can also take it from your friend who can actually just put you into place, like, you should do this. You
Cut
should
the
do
friend who takes you to McD or KFC.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. That is something you should do.
Don't answer the calls of that friend who take you out all the time. Okay, go on.
Yeah, the second thing we can do is exercise. Exercise is really very important because it keeps in control your mental health and your physical health. Now, I want to tell you something very interesting about what exercise does to blood sugar that's there in the blood. So, when you exercise, there's muscle hypertrophy, your
Yes.
muscles increase,
Yes.
then the blood sugar has space to go over there.
Wow, okay.
So your blood sugars start to go down, and that's why it is very, very, very important.
So we are utilizing the blood sugar,
Exactly.
which is floating around.
When you do weight training specifically.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why it is recommended to do at least 150 minutes of exercise every week.
Every week. Okay.
And in that, half of them, 75 minutes, should be strength training. Strength training is absolutely important, even if it's for women or men. It is very important, and I think there is a myth that women should not do strength training. They should do more cardio, but that's not true. Women need more strength training than men, so definitely that.
Please bang on that point often, because lately I was speaking to a women's health physiotherapist, and she was saying when a woman enters the pre-menopausal state,
Yeah.
their body is not producing enough amount of hormones,
Yeah,
which
that's
can still produce. So they were saying you need to do lots of weight training, strength training. That means your body is kicking and demanding more amount of estrogen in the body, and so the body tend to produce. And she was saying, if you don't ask, your body won't give.
Yeah.
Then you will fall into the menopausal, premenopausal state and everything.
Yeah, and I think this is specifically for those who are in between the age group of 22 to 35. They can get started right now and build their muscles very quickly. And as they age, the muscle building will also, due to the metabolism going down and stuff, the muscle building will slow down. So if you are anywhere between the ages of 22 to 35 and you want to get started, now is the time. The third thing that is important is your diet.
So first one was seek help.
Seek help.
Second, exercise. And third is diet. Most important. Go on.
Most important. So in this, I want to actually go into various things, but I will just go into macronutrients to begin with. Carbohydrates. Again, a myth that you can't eat carbohydrates. You need carbohydrates or your brain will not function.
Absolutely.
So don't stop having carbohydrates, but have more complex carbohydrates if you can. So things like quinoa, whole grain stuff, and stuff like, as you said, your friend did not have pasta.
Yeah.
They can have certain amount of pasta, rice, and stuff. Like there should be a controlled this thing. Like in a plate there should be 1/4 should be your grains, and that is required. That is very important for your health. They also carbohydrates also have other nutrients like B vitamins and stuff like that, which actually help in energy generation in the body. So don't deprive yourself. This is my thing for carbohydrate. And you always make sure that you have half your plate filled with vegetables and fiber.
Wow.
And 1/4 should be your protein and a little bit of fat. Now this, as dietitians, we do calculate this a lot
Yes.
for our patients, but if you can't calculate, you can have this in your plate. If it's there, then you're actually doing the right thing. So with the fiber and protein and good fats in your diet, you can actually slow down the amount of blood sugar that's been released into the blood, and that's how you can actually get your diabetes under control and also not have diabetes if someone is healthy.
Kinjal talks quite nice and fast. If you haven't understood it, please rewind and ask again. Listen to it again. That's fantastic point. Complex carbohydrates. Wow. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So that's something we should make sure how our plate looks like especially for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Try to have fiber, protein, and carbohydrates. This should be the main diet. Fourth point should be regarding mental health.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very important to keep your stress under check.
Ah.
Yeah. So as we discussed right now regarding the cortisol levels, that this is there, and also sometimes if we are stressed, we do a lot of stress eating, and it is again all
Comfort
the
eating.
and it is all the humans in the world. Like it's you and me, it's everyone. We do feel stress. It is a part and parcel of life, but it is very important for us to, again, in this we can take some help. We can take help from mental health practitioners. We can go for different therapies and stuff like that. And we should do yoga, do tai chi or something like that, just to calm, meditations and stuff, just to calm yourself down, so you can think if this is something you want to eat. The problem is what I say to the patients regarding snacking specifically is that don't keep food, like don't keep crisps and biscuits in your house
lying around.
Yeah, what happens is you want to eat something, you think, oh, let me have a biscuit, you just go ahead. This is what. But if you don't keep it around you, you keep it like in a cupboard locked up, or you just don't keep it at home, you are not going to take that extra effort of going down and buying it.
Exactly.
And I would give them a list of healthy snacking, high protein, good fiber snacks ideas, so they can actually keep them around and they can choose them instead.
Wow.
Or fruits or something like that. So that is something that would be really nice to just cope up with the mental health, the coping strategies for eating with stress and stuff like that. The fifth one, actually there is not a lot, but sleep well.
That is the most important thing. Sleep well. That means you don't stay upright too long, where the cortisol need to be working, and your body balance out everything when you have a good night's sleep.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's not a lot because it's not very difficult to do. Everyone loves sleeping. You should sleep.
My daughter sleeps for 10 hours. She wants to sleep 12.
Lovely. That's actually very good because your mind gets a lot of rest. I mean, 12 is a lot. But I think she's very young as well, right?
She is.
So I think she's young. She's a growing brain. But we should at least aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
That's perfect. That's easy. Ask.
Yeah, and go to sleep early. Like, actually, just find out if you're a morning person or a night person and go. There are a lot of sleep researchers. There's lots going on. You can actually very easily find out you're a morning person, you're a night person. And if you're a night person, sleep between 1-2 a.m., then wake up late.
Yes.
If you're going to work, if you have work in the morning, you're waking up at 6, then definitely go to bed by at least 10:30, 11 o'clock.
One of my mentor one time taught me this. Your inbox will never be empty.
Yeah, true.
Never be empty. And the task you need to do will never go down. But the only thing you can do, just take enough rest so you are energized next day, so you could do it better, faster.
Yeah, and you sleep well.
Yeah.
You rested well. You make better, healthier
choices. And he said
choices.
You will live a little bit longer so that you can enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will...
yeah, absolutely. And you will make better choices, or because if you're sleepy, you're drowsy, and you're just, not in that correct frame of mind, you want sugar.
Yes,
give it a kick, and you don't want that for diabetes, right?
One other important thing, my last question will be, genetically modified diet or fruits or any food products is available quite highly in America, but in UK I think that is far less. One of our researchers talked about it. These GMOs are so high in China as well. What is your take on this? Genetically modified fruits.
So these genetically modified food items are basically those whose DNA is changed and stuff like that. Now, there is not a lot of research to tell that, okay, this is good or bad, but there are practical things that we can look into it. Like, for example, these foods are pesticide and insecticide resistant. So they sprinkle a lot of them. So is it good for our body? No, it is not. The pesticides and stuff, they are not good for our body, right? So definitely there is a negative point there. Also, these foods are made with a lot of corn. Like, these food products are made with lots of corn, and these corns is also like genetically modified. Now we don't know what structural changes are happening, especially, and there is not enough research to say like bang on this is the thing. But with the diabetes, corn, when it is digested in our body, it is high fructose, which is again a form of sugar. So again, it is not good for diabetes specifically, or any other case in any other case. So that's my take on it.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. Quite a lot of information. I think some of the informations sometimes may not, go into our brain that easily. I think people should watch it again or listen to it again when you're running or doing gym activities. But the most important 5 points are: the first one is seek help.
Yeah.
Second is exercise. Third is diet. Fourth is stress. And the fifth is sleep. Sleep well. Even though this is all, people might think it's simple and easy, this is not going to solve my diabetes or my pre-diabetic issues. My recommendation is, so far I worked with so many clients and patients, and every little step you take towards these 5 points will get you away from the diabetes.
I think it's funny you say that, because a lot of times patients come to us and we just give them this simple things like, do this, and they think that it's so simple that it is not going to work for them. And I'm like, no, it will. But they want all those supplements and all those extra stuff which they don't require. There's not enough research about it. It will work, it might not work, but this will definitely work. So yeah, definitely.
Honestly, another thing, when you go through airport, the tunnel towards the planes, you will see a HSBC ad clearly states, problems can be complex. Often solutions are very simple.
Oh,
very, very simple. You read it, and it's on in Heathrow. I've seen it tons and times, where walk through that walkway tunnel to the airplane, and you'll see the HSBC ad says, I'm not I'm not advertising for HSBC, but you need to read through and takes what is the best things. Problem can be complex, but the solution often is very, very simple.
Absolutely.
So as you say, it's every day 1 or 2 steps towards the right direction takes you away from this pre-diabetic state. In my this many years of nearly 3 decades of in medical world, physiotherapist, what I've realized is diabetes is the slow killer and the least attention paid disease in the planet, and it is a man-made.
Yeah.
How hard it is, and you could easily come out of it, but still large group of people in this country and everywhere and diabetic.
And it is difficult to change completely, and no one is like, as healthcare professionals, we would never say like change completely, do 360-degree change. 1% change every day.
Yes.
Just a percent change, just small changes every day, and you can actually achieve it within, and it is said you can achieve your goal within 3 to 6 months.
Wow, that quick.
Small. Yeah, absolutely. If you're pre-diabetic, you can actually do it in 3 months. And if you have like a very closer to the normal range, you can actually reverse it within 6 months. So it is possible. People are doing it.
People are doing it. When Xavier's friend can do it, you can also do it. There is no excuse for it. The complex problem, if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic or including, you will develop frozen shoulder without question. You will develop heart problem. You will develop kidney problems. And your gut will be absolutely ruined. And please, take it seriously. And the only one person can help you, that's you.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
Thank you, Kinchal.
Thank
what
you.
a fantastic conversation
Thank you
it
so
is.
much for inviting me.
And I'm going to catch up with you on another topic about weight loss. Okay? Let's do another one and see you on the next episode about weight loss.
Absolutely.
Thank you.